Welcome back to Fundamentals of Fundraising. I'm Jim Abbott. I'm the founder of Bosca. I'm joined today by Heather Macy. Heather is the head women's basketball coach at Nova Southeastern University. Heather, thanks so much for being here today.
Jim, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor. I've participated in the programming, and when you sent me the message, I thought absolutely would love to talk to coaches today.
Well, good. Well, our whole goal is to just share some insights into how you develop fundraising and an effort to try to help coaches understand some of the strategies and approaches that they need to be thinking about. And the area that I want to start with is answering the question, why? Why do you as a coach participate in fundraising?
I think the number one thing to understand that the majority of athletic departments, especially small college athletic departments, they're looking for team players. And so you're not able to get into an isolated role. Like I'm a coach, meaning I want only work on X's and O's. I think we know right now that as college athletics has changed so dramatically, that we all have to wear different hats and we need to wear them really, really well. Not only do you need to wear them really well on your campus, a lot of times you need to wear those multi-directional, dimensional hats really well to even get the job. And so I think right now, as far as the fundraising perspective, you have to go on interviews and you have to talk about your plan. And then I think have a forward focus and a dynamic enough personality and relationship building that you can become an effective fundraiser for your program, but also bigger picture inside the athletic department and universities.
Yeah, that's interesting. So on one hand, you raise money to support your team and to provide a great experience, but also on the personal level, having fundraising skills makes you more marketable as a coach. Um, okay, so let's talk a little bit about how you promote giving. Now, what I know is because I get emails from you, and I've gotten emails from various schools that you've been at, that you are pretty good at communicating what's going on in the program, and you're not afraid to ask people in those communications to give. So, talk a little bit about how you promote giving.
I think it's really important that you give access to your program. And so we run a program here as honorary coaches, and we bring people into our locker room and on our bench. And a lot of other coaches, we've done this for 20 some years. A lot of other coaches say, I cannot believe that you give such access inside your program. And my number one thing is if you really want to build it and grow it, it takes people to do it. And people have to feel like they're a part and moving you forward in that direction. So that's a small element of giving a sneak peek of a day in the life of a student athlete. But in the same respect, I would tell you, us communicating, saying we have a need, and you never know who can assist you with that need. So the communication from the parents to the alumni to what we call the fan list. So those can be simple people we're meeting inside of our community or people that we've known for a long time that regardless of where we go and travel, our staff adds them each year. The kiddos update the fan list. We ask for their fan list. Like, tell us who has supported you. And that's not necessarily always their family. A lot of times, those are people like their AAU coach or their high school coach or their church, their community. And you would be so surprised the responses that we get that says, hey, I saw that you have this need or you're wanting to move it in this direction and we would like to assist you. And they have some sort of relationship that where we can forge that and move forward and grow at a more rapid rate.
Yeah, I love that. I love bringing people into your program because if you're truly trying to build a relationship, you're not trying to push people back. The more they're engaged, the more they can relate to your students and your staff. The deeper the connection and the higher the likelihood that they'll want to financially support you, right?
I think that there's no question if we all can get to the heart of it and go, where do I give every month, every year? And there's no question I give to what I'm connected to and what I feel like that my dollars are making a difference in a direction that I want that to go, whether that is inside of a church or inside your community or inside of a school system. And so I tend to go in that direction. And then I always give to people that I know. And so I have given to an FCA director for, oh my gosh, I guess it's been 5+ years right now. She helped our basketball team. And it would be very simple things, bringing snacks before a game, or she would drive a van if we needed it when I was a junior college coach. And I had no idea that her ministry was fully funded based upon these donations. And she shared that with me. And I hadn't, after I left the junior college, I didn't realize it. And I want to tell you something. Never one time have I not told another coach. I want you to understand that these services inside these colleges are not necessarily funded through the colleges. And if we can support them, we should. Well, in and of itself, I got to know her and I watched the way that she impacted the kids that she were around on my team. And I go, I want to fund her. I believed in her as the vessel. So I think as a coach, if you don't think that they need to know you, but they also probably need to know a couple of those players that they see in the uniform number 5 or 22, it's really important that they know those guys, because that it's like the people that they want to allow their resources to push forward.
Oh, that's right. If you want meaningful gifts for your program, then you've got to invest in a meaningful relationship. All right, so let's talk a little bit about prospects. You mentioned fan lists, which is a great reminder. You don't necessarily have to be an alum or whatever to support a program, but when you think about prospects to make gifts to your programs, who are some of the groups that you're thinking about?
Well, I will tell you, probably not popular to a lot of the coaches listening, but our families have been huge in assisting us. And so pretty much if I say we've got this need, I'd like to do something special, it's always met with the families. It's the most interesting dynamic. And a lot of my coaching friends are worried that that is a transactional relationship and now the coaches required playing time or special. I haven't experienced that at all. But remember, Jim, I've been coaching. This is year 26. Um, and I've been doing it a long, long time. And I am now kind of the parents' age. And I do allow full access with the parents. And so maybe I was a little bit more apprehensive when I was younger or a little more insecure. I'm not now. I mean, I think full transparency with the parents. I'm on a group chat with all of the kiddos' parents, and we're communicating as to Christmas breaks. And I've actually had less problems because we let them be involved, meaning our kids are actually back on time for Christmas break, these kinds of things. But the piece to that puzzle is there isn't transaction with it. It's going, this parent has the resources to help us. They want their kid to have this experience, and they're helping them have that experience. The other one I would tell you is everywhere I've ever been, I've treated it, I've worked at my alma mater, by the way. And I will tell you that at working at my alma mater, we did the exact same strategy every program I've ever been, honoring the past, bring the past back and make sure that they have access to know what's going on is a huge element. We got here and the first thing we did was get on the phone and call the entire alumni list to introduce ourselves, not to ask for anything, simply to say, hey, I want to make sure you know that we're new. We would love to meet you and get to know. So I think these are natural relationships. And then when you are at a place, now you start understanding the institution and the relationships inside of it. And I think then it's organically, you're going to civic organizations or they're taking you to dinners with certain affiliates of that have had a long-term interest in, specifically for me, the women's basketball program.
Yeah, I love those reminders. I'm a parent, and for my kids' entire life, I supported what they did. I physically supported and went to games, but I also financially supported what they did. So I think people do worry about where's the fine line there, but if you're upfront about it and even during that process, make sure that they understand that I'm not really going to be open to conversations about playing time or whatever else, then you can do that successfully. So reaching out to alums, even and particularly those alums that didn't play for you. I think some coaches think, how do I connect with someone who didn't play for me? And in my mind, I just think, well, they have a vested interest in this program. As you're successful, it only builds the pride they have. So tell me how you find the time to do it. How do you just block time to participate in this area, or how do you do it?
Jim, you've been doing this a long time. You know that coaches are fake busy. Eh, Coaches are the fakest, busiest people ever. I mean, it really is humorous. I mean, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think the people who are so busy that there's no time in the day for this kind of thing. I'm surprised you have winning programs. It's kind of like the athlete that says, between my class schedule, I have no extra time to go get shots up, coach. Hard to believe, right? Maybe our time management isn't. And I hope I didn't step on everyone's toes that's listening to this, but there's plenty of time. It's prioritizing what you'd like to do and what gets you the most ROI on it. And so for me, without the monetary giving, my progress is delayed to have the locker room that I want, to take the tournament trips that I want to go on, to potentially handle NIL deals with kids and what are we doing, and how that whole thing is growing. It also takes the fundraising to it. Or maybe it's simple as I want to create an amazing experience where the kids can come over to the house and everybody is, we're feed them better than they expect, or we do better Christmas holiday parties. And that sometimes takes you using, your restricted funds or unrestricted dollars to be able to do some of those things.
Yeah, so I think what you're saying is if it's important enough to you, you'll find the time to do it.
In my opinion, for sure. I mean,
Okay.
we literally signed 15 new players at Nova. So we signed an entirely new roster within probably, I would probably have told you 45 days, but I'm going to say 60 to
Okay.
keep it generally. And we were, as you know, because you get the emails, we were still in constant communication up to, hey, we got here, here's what's going on, here's what we're about to do, here's what we can project out and plan a non-conference schedule. All of these things can happen. You've got to understand that I know that college coaching, you're operating in dog years. And it doesn't matter what level you're doing it. You don't have a decade anymore to get a program flipped around. And so you should treat it that way when you're working on, how do I build these relationships? How do I get in front of the right people, and work smarter, not harder, maybe is a nice strategy as well.
Yeah. You talked a little bit about how you cultivate relationships and that you give access to your program. Are there any other like tips or tricks, things like text messaging, or do you scan social media, and when you see somebody uh, celebrate a success, make sure you reach out to them? Well, what are some ways that you cultivate those relationships?
We use the GroupMe app. So whether it be alums or parents, under categories, which makes it like a one stop shop. It's very
Oh,
fast for me. We're able to send a quick message that an update on a game, an update on something's going, or a reminder. We do meet and greet. So we want to remind them we have a meet and greet after the game. So that is obviously effective as far as time management goes. And then, I think the other part to it is we are able to use some software. We use ARMS under the platform, and they pretty much do the banner for you. I mean, it's not like you're auto generating all this kind of stuff yourself, but they're handling it. And then we actually plan out the year. And so we go, okay, this time of year, it's a holiday email, it's a holiday social media, so we have it mapped out. When we're less busy in May, June, July, we're actually going ahead and started like the body of an email that with a line going, hey, we need to add in once we firm the date, or add in once we firm the record, or these kinds of things. So it's not a blank sheet of paper the day after a game. How do we communicate with the alumni? We're already reminding them that we're having alumni day. One of the cool things that we're doing, I'll give this to the coaches listening, we do an alumni coin. And so it's kind of like the military coin that sometimes maybe if you met an officer and they'll exchange it with you. And probably 20 years ago, someone told me this, so I don't want to, I don't know who to give credit to. I can't remember who told me, but we've been doing it. It's really, really cool. And we'll have alumni day in 2 weeks here at Nova. And every alum that comes, we'll give them an alumni coin. So you have a pretty large expense on the front end. Like we ordered 100 of them. But for the next 5 years, right, every time an alum comes back, they'll get one coin. And it's got our logo on it, and it's our vision statement is on the logo. And they're required to keep it inside their pocketbook, in their wallet, whatever that looks like for the team. And if they're in an airport, they're at a restaurant, they're in an event, and they see another women's basketball Nova alum, they'll say, I got my alumni coin. Do you have yours?
Huh.
And if the other alum doesn't have their coin, then drinks are on them for that day. So they're buying the first round. And so it becomes a lot of fun, but it also is a conversation piece. So if that alum goes to pull something out and they're at an airport and they're there, they may talk to the person to the right or left and say, hey, I want to tell you about my experience while being a shark. And now we've got more people talking about, not when they played for me. That's not what we're looking for. The people we're talking to are people who are now, maybe they're a little bit high income earning age gap. Maybe they're 35 to 50. That's the alumni group that we typically have back. We want everyone to come back, obviously, but that is really who can now financially probably support us in a stronger way.
I love that. Because ultimately we want you to be proud of the program. We want you to be proud of the university. And it's a great reminder. I'm not best positioned to make a transformational gift to you when I'm 27, but I will be when I'm 57. And whatever steps you can take to kind of continue to build that pride are great. So that's really intriguing. I love the idea. Final question I have: just what general advice would you give to coaches that are trying to improve their fundraising? What are just one or two snippets that you would give them?
The very first one, stop saying you're not a fundraiser. I'm a coach. Okay, well, right, you're a coach, which means you're also a recruiter, which also means you're a CEO, which I think coaches want to get out of what their roles and responsibilities may entail. And one of the reasons I think coaching is so addictive is no 2 days are the same. Like that's what I love about it. So some days I'm the CEO, and some days I get to be the coach, but some days I got to be the mom, and then some days I've got to be the fundraiser. Whatever that looks like, be willing to wear that hat, wear that mask, put on that cape, whatever all that looks like, with the understanding that each and every single one of those ways is what is going to elevate your program. To elevate your program, you have to elevate the experience that the players have inside of your program to get to where you can attract really elite athletes. And as all of these pieces of the puzzle connect, now you're starting to compete for championships, and now you're competing at a national level. Then what starts to happen is the fundraising is a lot easier when you're a winning program. People want to support, they want to be more involved. And the bottom line is, most of the time, you don't start there. So recognize that the ways that you can attract better players and maintain and retain those players, which a lot of times is the way that you travel and the way that you're outfitting them and the way that you give them a locker room experience. These things take money. And then I think you can start looking at some larger pictures. But if it seems overwhelming to you, pick 3 things that you know for sure is going to take your program forward. And maybe those things are your scholarship dollars could be the big one. You got to have really good players. I think facilities is another one. And then the experience of the players, what they're wearing, what they're eating, how they're traveling, and focus on those areas.
Yeah, I love it. And I couldn't agree more. The really, virtually every small college athletic department, fundraising is part of the gig. So sometimes we spend so much time looking at the hurdles that we're not focused on the finish line. And in the case of fundraising, it's just one of those areas that goes on and on and on. A little bit of time invested today will make your life and your program and the experience of your students so much better in the future. Well, Heather, I can't thank you enough for taking some time. I am a big fan of what you're doing. I appreciate you sharing with our group, and just thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for the time. And if anybody has any questions, please reach out. And thanks for all you're doing for small college athletics because I've been a part of it and it does make a huge difference.
Well, you bet. Well, thanks again. That's another episode of Fundamentals of Fundraising, and we'll look forward to seeing you the next time.